Frank, what do you make of it all?
You really want to put me into that discussion about that stupid trophy. But whatever, I'm going to tell you something. You know why Jorginho is not the Ballon d'Or? Because that trophy doesn't design the best player in the world, it designed the most entertaining player in the world. And when Messi signed for Paris Saint-Germain, I was the first willing to go to Parc des Princes to see him. It would have been Jorginho winning the European Championship and winning the Champions League for Italy and Chelsea. I wouldn't have gone to the Parc des Princes, you know, because with all due respect, because Jorginho is a fantastic player, fantastic guy working for the others, he's not a star, he's not a mega star, he's not somebody you're going to pay tickets to go to see the game, where millions of people would love to see Messi playing. That's the difference. I don't like that trophy. It represents nothing for me because it's only for entertaining players. It doesn't represent players. It doesn't represent my sport because my sport is a collective sport and we work together. And it's been shown lately that stars don't make you win, but in the contrary, make you lose many, many times. And we can see that with Barcelona, we can see that with Paris Saint-Germain, where you see that Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City and Bayern Munich are winning all trophies. So they have to stop that stupid thing, but I gave you my answer about Jorginho. And that's sad. For me, that's very sad. It is what it is.
Let's go to Ian and his fancy new curtains. What do you make of it, Ian?
Well, I find it hard to take the Ballon d'Or seriously. I'm with Frank a bit on this. It's a bit like the Oscars and the Golden Globes. There's a kind of who cares element, but obviously a lot of people do care. You're arguing for Messi because of Argentina. What about all the years when he played for Argentina and they weren't doing much? He was winning the Ballon d'Or then, and deservedly so. Let's be honest about it. He is one of the greatest players, perhaps the greatest ever to lace on boots. But in this past year, I think it's Lewandowski. It has to be Lewandowski, and I think that's the view of most people, but maybe it isn't.
Well, it clearly isn't, because those that voted...
Oh, but let's go back to another point of yesterday's show, right? Jules brought up Henry Winter, right? And I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth here, suggesting that Henry voted for Jorginho because, one, he's a good player and he did have a very good season. There's not a doubt about that, and he's an excellent player. But when I think about the best player on the planet at that period, I don't think about him. But Jules puts it out there that Henry had voted because Jorginho plays in the Premier League. And I don't know if that's the case. You'd have to ask Henry. But he also, Jules, was pushing Karim Benzema. And that's a classic case of where we are with this nonsensical voting, is that people are voting, they're not voting for what they perceive as the best player, they're voting who they perceive as the best player that also fits the narrative for their country. That's wrong. And I do agree with what Shaka said in terms of letting players vote for it. Players are numpties. They're absolute numpties. They'll vote for their best mate, just come out the shower. Oh, hey, there's Jimmy, I'll vote for him. Yeah, I played with him 3 clubs ago, I'll vote for him.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can't diminish breaking a near 50-year record just because somebody plays in a league that a team dominates. 2 years, that guy. And they didn't have it last year because of the pandemic. They didn't have the brains even to figure that out. And now they've just sort of given it out and they sort of wishy-washy, let's give it to Messi, that'll be a great story. It has turned into a story. It's a story because it's actually diminished the Ballon d'Or even more than it was already. That's the last time I'm talking about it. That's it.
Alessandro, you think back, I don't know how you sleep at night, 1995, you finished 4th in the Ballon d'Or. Are you still resentful of the likes of George Weah and Jurgen Klinsmann for beating you to it?
No. I think George Weah that year was something, unbelievable, to be honest. I have some regrets for the year later. The year later that arrived behind Matthias Sammer. And we are going to a conversation where European championship counts or not in the ideally when you vote for the Ballon d'Or. So it's difficult from my point of view. Say one is the best. I believe more in in the best 11 that is doing on the FIFA. That is something that makes more sense, because is the great value, is a much better value in what you can say, and it become also from the coaches and from the captains, for the players, not from journalists, because there's a lot of rumors behind this Ballon d'Or about sponsors and other things, so it's quite weird sometimes. So we cannot go that much in deep.
Ali, you bring up, 96, where, as you mentioned, Sama won it, then it was Ronaldo, then it was Shearer, and then it was yourself. Like, back then, was it a big deal, as big as a deal as it was now?
No, I mean, I don't feel bad about that. If you ask me, do you want to win one? And back in the years, yes, of course, it's a personal recognition that, everybody say that you are the best. Okay, I'm super happy to have it, but I'm not losing my sleep at night because of that. I never did. I was much more focused on winning titles.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.